Well, the ancient history of this planet definitely piques the interest of many people. It doesn't help when we're fed nothing but lies and distraction when trying to uncover the truth. It doesn't help that you're not taught true history when you're in school. They'll teach you 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and all this crap, but they never, ever journey down the path of especially new findings. They're still teaching kids in school stuff from decades ago. Any of the newer findings and things like that, they're not putting in there. There's literally a whole journey that begins when you break free of that establishment-controlled education system when you're trying to figure out the true history of this planet. Now, what they've discovered this time, it seems like every time they make one of these finds, they want to wisp this stuff away to the Smithsonian or the British Museum. One of the two. So all these artifacts are always taken from their home location. But this time they're saying that this latest discovery, this massive colossus, this huge statue, they think is of Ramses II. Now there's no inscription on anything that says that this is him, but this was standing at the gates of his compound of Heliopolis. And I've talked about Heliopolis before. They're saying that once this is fully taken out of the ground and put back together, they're going to put it inside the new museum in Egypt, which is where I think all the Egyptian artifacts should have been to begin with. But you have this issue with the boogeyman running around in Syria and all these other places. They're saying they're destroying artifacts. We've even seen them faking destroying it. But let me say this. When you start to look at these structures, these ancient structures that they're digging up, and from this angle, that can almost look like a face, a crazy face with a smile and a nose and an eye, but that's an ear, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of deceiving the way it's angled, and you're going to see how it's an ear here in this next frame. And when you see this next frame, this is where everything changes for me. And I don't just say this on a whim. Do you see that elongated skull? That's right, an elongated skull now here on this statue of Ramses. Now, I've talked about before the ancient history. And for those that have been following me here recently throughout the past few months, you've seen us pick up the pace here in exposing the fallen ones. They landed on Mount Hermon. They mingled with the women of this planet. And they bore giants. That is exactly what these individuals were. And to me, when they depict some of these statues as being massive, I believe that some of these statues depict, especially the 15-foot tall ones, I believe they depict these individuals from ancient Egypt in the size and the manner in which they were. Now, someone green says, well, where's all the evidence and proof? Well, you haven't been studying long enough, and you obviously haven't seen all the huge discoveries of skeletons that have been whisked away to the Smithsonian, never to be seen again. I mean, literally, it's like it'd be Raiders of the Lost Ark, like Indiana Jones, if you could get up inside of one of those compounds. And let it be known that all around the National Mall in D.C., every one of those big buildings, almost every one of them, are ran by the Smithsonian. There sits all those artifacts hidden. Some amazing things in the basement that would blow people's minds, I'm sure. And, this stuff continues. And people can debate back and forth. They're free to have their opinion. But when I look at everything that I've come across thus far and I see these new findings that they're digging up, this to me goes right along with everything else that was written. And it gives more validity to those stories. Regardless, the head on Ramses or whoever this individual was that they made this colossus statue of, he had an elongated head. Now, we've seen this practiced in other traditions, and then we've seen it discovered without anything manipulating the head, where the cranium was completely built different, with an upper plate on the head that humans don't have. They've discovered this in other skeletons. Therefore, it was created that way, not just manipulated by man. Okay? So, things to think about. And as always, these new finds out of Egypt always pique my interest. And when you see them pulling out huge colossals here with elongated skulls, people, it's time to pay attention. I'll leave a link. It's been Dabu7.